Unleash your potential. Unleash your potential, reach for the stars, electric dreams align, show them who you are, unleash your potential. Yo, 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 let's go. 1, 2, 3, unleash and grow. Embrace the vibe, set it free, your potential unlocked, just believe. Psychedelic journeys, hearts aligned, step into the future, greatness redefined. Unleash your potential, set your dreams free. In a world of stars, become who you want to be. Stand tall in the storm, embrace the rain, ride the wave of success, break every chain.
Welcome to the Expanding Your Energy Field Activation.
Unleash your potential. Yo, 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 let's go. 1, 2, 3, unleash and grow. Embrace the vibe, set it free. Your potential unlocked, just believe. Unleash your potential. Unleash your potential, reach for the stars, electric dreams align, show them who you are, unleash your potential. Yo, 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 let's go. 1, 2, 3, unleash and grow. Embrace the vibe, set it free, your potential unlocked, just believe. Psychedelic journeys, hearts aligned, step into the future, greatness redefined.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you that you join us again another Saturday as we motivate ourselves, get ourselves off the mediocre box, fixated on the future by thinking right so that we act right. Kings 88.5 motivational talk. Unleash your potential. Today is Saturday, the 17th day of January 2025. Again, thank you so very much that you can join us for Kings 88.5 weekend motivational talk. Unleash your potential. This morning we've got something just within the same plane from last week, since it is the start of the new year. We'll always say new year because it's new. It hasn't gone far yet. So it is new. Today is the 17th day of the first month. So it is new. And life is all about decision making, which determines whether you move forward or you remain where you are, or you keep retrogressing. Again, it's good that we are together. Thank you so very much. We appreciate you. We thank you for coming on, and let's motivationally edify ourselves, change our thinking so that we have what we envision. Because without a fixated thinking process, it becomes impossible or difficult, if not impossible, to get your life going as you envision it. Having the impression is one thing, in backing on what you have developed from your thought process or your lab is another. I'm Sam Andrews.
Stand tall in the storm, embrace the rain, ride the wave of success, break every chain. Purpose is right there. Unleash your potential. Yo, 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 let's go. 1, 2, 3. Unleash and grow. Embrace the vibe. Set it free. Your potential unlocked.
Yes, 1, 2, 3, let's go. Set your life free, unleash your potential. I guess you had a wonderful time as I had, with God hovering all of us, bringing us into this day and time. We can be more grateful as we are to God Almighty, the creator and sustainer of life, and the man who gave the mind, the thought process, God Almighty. We are grateful. So, as it is the custom of a lecture like this, there are others who weren't able to be a part, or if they were a part, didn't start from the onset. Some got in the middle of it, some dropped in at the close of it, or when we were closing. So, usually, the recap is to not only remind those who were part of the lecture, but also to give an understanding, positioning them for the talk ahead with the recap. Last week's lecture was your mess becomes your message. Your mess becomes your message. That the expression, your mess becomes your message, it simply means personal struggle, failure, or difficulty you go through, and you come out of it when you can turn it into a testimony, a breakthrough, a blessing. Testimony, breakthrough, blessing is a description, figuratively, for message. When that is done, everyone sees and can emit and can tell others that this person had this life, this person did XYZ, even though I do not know all. But given what I've seen of this person, truly, this is a message, not only for this person, but I can buy into it. And if this person can come out of such a situation, no doubt I can too. We said last week that your toughest times in life are not just hardship, as you will see it. And don't just see it that way, even though from a human standpoint, it hurts, it pains because it drains, it keeps you at a position revolving, which you don't want, but you want to see those challenges as motivation for a better future or success. That your mess is not only your message, or cannot only become your message, but inspiring message that will help others who are facing similar or same situation, that they can use your thinking that earned you the message or testimony or breakthrough they too can use. That overcoming challenges demonstrates possibility, offering hope to those who are still in despair, while you are out of despair. That your test becomes your testimony when you can face the reality. That testimony is the message that you have to face it. Everyone has made mistakes. Everyone will still make mistake as long as you are on the earth. We are on the earth. Don't be afraid. We said last week to talk about had issues. Don't hold them to yourself. Don't think it is not necessary to talk about. You can talk it with yourself, in yourself, by yourself. You also want to find like minded individuals or persons who had similar or same situation. Everyone goes through different situations on a daily basis on this earth. Everyone, it may not be the same by magnitude, but people go through different trials, temptations, tribulations, whatever, and they come out of it. Such people are like minded. You want to share yours with them, and they can help you get out. We also talk about work together, working together to share your message, turn to each other for encouragement. No man is an island. You can make it all by yourself. Certainly not. That you want to look back over your life, and when you do, you will see all the mess. And as you see the mess, don't quickly get emotional. Neither must you throw them out, but take up time to carefully appraise or examine them. And when you do, you will find the unmet within the mess. And that unmet becomes the turning point for your message. Many people don't do that. People just go with emotional outburst. I have had enough of this. This has weighed on me. All these things I've gone through. And so that's it. You don't want to just push everything off the table. You want to take the mess or those messy situations you created. Some were created accidentally, not by your making, and look at all within those messy situations. You will find unmet, and that unmet is the turning point. I cannot tell you how many people on earth and in this world did just that, and that became the turning point finding a single unmet. If I will impute any spiritual atmosphere, that's how God works. You want to look back over your life, you will see the mess, or put all of those messy situations on the table. Don't get quickly emotional about them because they are messy or you created those mess for yourself. Certainly not. Don't ignore them. Take up time carefully to look at them. And when you do, you will find an unmet. That means something that is not messy. That which amongst the messy situations that is not unmet, that is the turning point for coming out of such a messy situation. Remember now, you only need a thing to get out. Whatever difficulty that one faces, he or she only needs a thing to get out. It can be something, it can be a person. But you want to look at all of those. That is what the Englishmen call self-examination, self-introspection, all of those things. Put them. And don't blame yourself for every messy situation. We said, as we wind down on the recap, the mess or the message is the positive change coming out of messy condition that held you back but did not knock you down. Instead, it strengthens for chartering a new and different course of life. That you ought to be open about your mess. Don't be ashamed about it. And this is typical in our culture. People are afraid of their mess. Very many people don't talk about their mess. They see those messy situations as offensive to sound in the ear, least to say talk about. Every messy situation has a message. And if you are that emotional person who blurs reason and will throw everything at yourself with crying, wrestling within yourself, saying all manner of things, you're not going to get a message because you will not find that unmet that is in the mess. Be open about your mess. Don't be ashamed. It already happened. When it happened, most of it was not your fault. Don't blame yourself entirely for every messy situation in your life or that come around you. Don't cry that you mess up. It doesn't make sense. Don't ever cry. I don't like to hear people crying about situation, about other things. It does not make sense at all. If you think it ever makes sense, well, then go ahead and be crying and crying. Listen, the first person that will condemn you is God. The first person that will condemn you is God. When you are in a situation, it means you have everything to come out. When you are confronted with whatever the situation, it means there is a solution to come out of that trial, messy situation, temptations, tribulation, whatever. There is a solution. Why? Because if there isn't a solution, there wouldn't be a problem. The reason you have problem, trials, temptations, tribulations, because there is solution. And that solution is the mind. Crying Does it make sense? It does not change anything. It only compounds, it increases, it weighs on you heavily psychologically. It puts you out of balance. It erodes anything of a thinking that you ought to. Don't cry that you mess up. Don't cry that you ruin your life. No, your life has not gone. You may have a ruined life, but you still have life. The fact that you have life, it means you can reorganize, you can get another life from the ruined life. That's why you need not worry about anything. Now, worrying is part of human being, but when I say worry, that you will cry, you will take it from one person to another, from one friend to another, from one place to another, and you're not going to get any help. It will get messy by the day. You got life. Situations can knock you down, but they can knock you out of life. You still live, and you will have a solution. There is a second chance for a comeback. There's always, always. This is one of the supernatural reality of life. There is the second chance for a comeback. Life is all about comebacks. Life is filled with comebacks. God in heaven provides that. The world is a testament to that. There's second chance for a comeback. Don't worry. And then we close last week lecture by turning to the supernatural aspect. There is the religious aspect, we said, to turning your mess into a message. Why did we insert that in the lecture? Because everything life, there is the spiritual aspect. Why spiritual? Well, here is it. Fewer people have this understanding. Many people will use the expression as per their understanding. But when you saying God, Jesus, Spirit, you are saying invincibility. When you're saying Satan, devil, you are talking about invincibility. Can anyone see God presently? No. But his characteristics, his manifestations, the characteristics of the devil, the manifestations of the devil, fill the atmosphere. God is the sustainer. And there is everything, the spiritual aspect. So when you hear spiritual aspect, that what it means. Believe in God. Believe that he created the human being, that he talked about crisis, trials, temptations, tribulations, and then he provided the solution. He doesn't have to come to us physically and say, you are in this messy situation. You need to examine this messy situation because there is an unmet that would serve as the turning point. No, he does it by giving us the intellect, or called the mind. In many Christian cycles, it is believed that God can turn a mess into a message, a test into a testimony, and a trial into a triumph. Yes, that is true. How he does it? Not by coming to us physically. Too many people under this ground, because they waited and they refused to act. Too many people are going under the ground. Too many frames are going under the ground today based on what I'm talking to you. Messy situation, had everything, solution to come out. They waited. They wanted God to come physically, and they kept on worrying and worrying and worrying and worrying. And then what happens? The breath is off. God does not come to you. God gave you. If that wasn't true, you will not see the line with a strict jacket question and not rhetorical. Can the many worry save? Can the many worry add a single stature to your life? Simply put, he is saying the more you worry psychologically, you are compounding the problem and you're not going to come out of your mess. But if you can look at the mess or messy situation, there is in there an unmess that will serve as the turning point. Moses had a messy situation. Paul had messy situations. All of those guys, they had messy situation. Elijah. But what happened? They used their intellect or the mind to come out. With that recap, let's now turn to what we have for today, and that will be doing it. Again, thank you for coming on. Thank you for always coming on. We appreciate you. This morning's lecture is change your thinking or your life won't change. Change your thinking or your life won't change. That is the lecture for this morning. Change your thinking or your life won't change. Since it is the beginning of the year, which said, so we try to focus for the time being on right thinking, decision making, developing a unique thought process for yourself, chattering a new course. That means going towards the future. That's what life is all about. And if you are that ready mind, then you have a new life. Change your thinking or your life won't change. Our lecture for this morning. Let's begin by asking ourselves and finding out the answer. What is thinking? What is thinking? Well, it's simply active brain or mind process. Active brain or mind process to develop ideas. Ideas are abstract. The mind is the lab, is the thought process. It is where all decisions are hatched. The mind. It is used for making judgments, solving problems, remembering, and planning. That's what thinking is. This, the mind, MIND, is the lab for decision making. It is where all of the decisions, all of our decisions are hashed. Nothing happens without the mind. Nothing works without the mind. You can be nothing without the mind. Everything is here. If that is true of thinking, since these are words that make up our topic, change your thinking or your life won't change, it takes us to the next word, change. What is change? To make or become different. An alteration in form, in style, in nature, or condition, whatever. That what change is. It is an event that starts with the thinking process by using the mind. Change is not a process, change is an event. The process is the thinking. If that is true, then what is life? What is life? What you want to tell us, St. Andrews, of life, or what life is? Well, you have multiple definitions of life, as I think I have. What I do have is what I can share with you, but what you have, it's equally good. That's the reality of it. It's a good definition that you have of life. I am only sharing mine with you because we are intellectualizing, we are conversing with each other. Here is mine. Life, it's simply existence. Life and living. Living is life, and life is existence. Did you get it? Living is life, and life is existence. It is not without the mind, and the mind is for thinking. Let me go back on that. Life, living is life, and life is existence. I don't think this sounds ambiguous or confusing. It's simple to understand. If you don't have existence, you wouldn't be a human. If you don't have life, you wouldn't exist. That's the definition right there of life. Not just mediocre or just thinking because you are a thinking being, but thinking that will hand you the life you want. God created the mind. He created the mind. Why did he create the mind? For us humans to use it. That's what God created the mind, for human beings to use it. How? To think, reason, understand, and then make decision. That is why the mind is not to be used loosely. The mind, your mind, my mind, not to be used loosely. If I will put it this way, the mind is your life. The mind is my life. I said in the middle of the recap, the mind is everything the lab. It is the thought process. It is where everything is processed. It is where all decisions are hashed. The mind is the lab. The mind is not to be used loosely, but proper use for the difference in one's life, work, business, academic, relationships, interactions with colleagues, and church. Everything, the mind of the human being is just everything, the mind. Again, know this, people. Look at yourself. What you see of yourself is the lab. You are that human lab. You have the ability supernaturally given unto you. God does not think for the next person. God does not think for you. God has never thought for anybody. He had only given pieces of advice. That is why he's not imposing. He's not the imposing God. The reason for that, simple to understand, he gave the ability. When you gave ability, you don't impose. You can. If you're finding it hard to understand, let me put it this way. I don't know whether this analogy will correlate with what I'm saying. But if the boss gives an assignment, the boss is not going to think for you how you do it. The boss relies on your intellect, your mind. The responsibility is onto you now to use your mind. What the boss will want in return is the execution or the result or the completion. God does not reason for anybody. He does not think for anybody. It's because he gave it. This is the lab. This is where all of the decisions are developed. And the mind, as it is, not to be used loosely. Everything the mind should not be used for mediocre thinking. It is the mind, it is the now, it is the now and the future of the human being, the mind. Not thinking right now, not tomorrow, not next week, not week after next, not next month, now. Not thinking now to change one's life, it won't change. If you cannot think, your life won't change. Now, I guess some of you are asking rhetorically, but everyone is a thinking being. Everyone has the ability to think. So what is Sam Andrews saying on that radio? Yes, you are right. Everyone is a thinking being. Everyone thinks because everyone has the ability, because it was imputed unto everybody. But not everybody thinks right. But everybody ought to think right in chartering a new course, a difference in his life, or to have a difference of life. But everybody is a thinking being. Just like Jesus would say, not everybody who says, Lord, Lord, that is an expression for everybody. Anybody has the right to say, Lord, Lord. Don't we say, Lord, Lord, all over the place? But what happened? He spoke of the difference. The thinking process requires difference of thought. It is that difference of thought that you see with other people giving testimony and say, oh, wow, your life has gone to another level. Oh, your business has gone to the level. Oh, the office has gone to this level. When you hear people saying that, they are referencing proper, serious-minded, futuristic thinking that person put in. If you can think futuristic, your life won't change. The mind is everything. The mind equips us to understand and manage our now. And then what it does again, it projects the future, or it is also for projecting the future. We are one. The expression, change your thinking or your life won't change, simply means a change for a better future or life depends on how you use your mind to get the life that you want, the future that you want, what you want to achieve, how you think you are going to achieve it. It depends on how you will think or reason. whether you need to make a change in your life now or later. It is imperative if you should have a good life or a good start to life, and I should add life progress, then you will have to change how you think. If you thought mediocre most part of 2025, you want to put yourself in your lab self and begin to think of now into the future. You can take a deep dive into the future. It is what the English man will refer to as projecting or forecasting the future, the mind. Let me insert this line because there's nothing you can do without the Bible. The Bible is leadership. The Bible is decision making. The Bible is just everything. So it's difficult to deliver a lecture and not referencing. James, if you have the time, look up James chapter 4 from verse 13 to 17. That paragraph, what James is simply explaining is decision. And just not any kind of decision. Everything, the mind. If you must have a life, if you must have a change, if you you can present a better outlook of yourself, the mind. If people will acknowledge an outlook, a change, a difference, it comes from you, how you think. It is imperative if you should have a good start to life progress by changing how you think now. Now, if your life, business, office work, academic, church, relationships, whatever, should have a different outlook. It depends on you. Your thinking, our thinking, is like a software, if you know what a software is technologically. It's like a software that dictates to your life. Changing it opens the future to you. Also, it is like Google. Do you know the expression they have for Google? They say garbage in, garbage out. What you put in here is what you're going to put out. And what you put out is what people identify as your thinking. It's what they identify. They cannot identify what is in because they cannot see. They only identify, speak to what comes out of the mind. And that when you hear people, when they see some things, they say, oh, my man, come on, man. They say if for your, I hope that I can get the lines right. They say, oh, my man, you should know better. You say, oh, my man, for your status, man. When you hear people saying that thing of you, or you hear people using that expression, they're referring to what came out of the mind, what the person decided, how the person thought. So by their own reasoning, in their opinion, is an undesirable, wrong thought. That is why the person is affected. Though they are empathizing and sympathizing with the person, they are also identifying by that expression wrong thought, irrational thinking, not careful thinking. So the person is feeling the effect of not thinking properly. Changing how you see yourself is more powerful than just changing your habit. Changing how you see yourself is more powerful, more important, significant, good for the future than just changing habit. If you look at Paul with Romans chapter 12, what Paul is presenting in verse 2 is about decision making, but the whole chapter is about decision making again. But his emphasis is on renovation. His emphasis is on renovation. Last week, we talked about three words. Three words. Those three words or elements we will see as we wind down on this lecture. They are always part of us. They just can't leave our existence because they are the integral elements of our existence if we should have a better future. Renovation is the same as what I'm talking here. Nothing can change in your life. Your life won't change if you can think properly. When you can think proper, you can think future. What you start to do, you start to cut, begin to make adjustment, begin to do a lot more. What you are doing by that process, you are renovating. You are taking out the thoughts that weren't right, didn't help you, didn't give you the kind of life in your business, your work, your schooling, your relationship, be it marriage or cohabitation, your office work, your interactions with people, just didn't give you what you envisioned. You are now taking it out with a change. And that change starts with thinking. And then you're putting in the right one. That right is what we call mental adjustment. And then you begin to see the fruits, the benefits. Renovation. Every decision involves or it is about renovation. Take out what is not necessary, put in what is necessary. Renovation is just to say that, like, let me explain it this way so you understand it. When we were at the close of 2025, customarily, some people will move on to take things that are not necessary for the house being there ever so long, don't want to have those in the house for a new year, wants the new year to have new things. So they'll take up those things that are not necessary, saying as, oh, probably they didn't give the house the kind of facelift. You in the office the same way, they do a change in the office, just everywhere. That's what renovation is. Now, what that evolves from proper thinking, observation, and then there's the decision. That decision is the outcome. That's when a person enters your house and say, oh, they have changed, oh. I said, but you really changed your house, oh? The last time, yeah, the house on all that, how beautiful it is. Hey, look at this one. What that person will be referring to is renovation. Renovation evolves from decision making, and just not any kind of thinking, not mediocre thinking, but futuristic thinking. If you should have a better changed life, as we have started 2026, you have to change your thinking, or your life won't change. How to start changing your thinking? We said in previous lectures, see challenges as opportunities to get stronger. Rather than dwelling, sleeping on, mesmerizing, fleeting, romanticizing the problem or problems, look for solutions in your creative thinking, because the solution is in your creative thinking. It's in your futuristic thinking. Again, let's go back on some of the lines from previous lectures. It doesn't depend on the next person sitting beside you. It doesn't depend on the next person that is your friend. It doesn't depend on a relative of yours. You are the one who is carrying the vessel. You are the one who is carrying the mind. And you will have to do that thinking. Unless you can think innovatively, you might want to achieve and know that you will achieve the life that you want if you can think innovatively. That's what I said from the onset of this lecture. The mind is not to be used loosely. The mind is not to be used loosely. God didn't create the mind to be used loosely. God created the mind to be used properly. And if you will destroy your mind by not fixating it on proper thinking, that's the result you will get. Your life won't change. You will just be revolving. And then you will realize what a civil rights activist Malcolm X said in one of his public addresses. Hear what he said. A sit-down attitude, even though that refers to exerting oneself, but you can exert when you didn't make decision or you don't make decision. He said, a sit-down attitude gives you a sit-down result. And it all starts or happens from the mind. Understand that indecision, understand that, yeah, it's a choice, eh? Certainly, yes. That decision is a choice. Decision is a choice. Practice makes clear. Informed choices take control. It's up to you. You want to see yourself as a different person, and you will be that different person. Yeah, how you do that as we close. Reprogram your brain for success. Reprogram your brain for success. I'm not confusing you. I guess some of you are saying, but you just say the same thing that you're telling us to reprogram. It's the same thing I'm saying. Reprogram yourself. Or let me put it this way. Rethink. 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 Reprogram your brain for success. Be open to new way of thinking. Sit down. That's what self-examination is. That's what introspection is. So that you make a decision. Because you want to move from one level to another. You want to achieve. Nothing and nobody operates in a vacuum. Don't live with that illusion. Everything must have a reason, and that reason should be futuristic on the future. Otherwise, than that, you will continue revolving. Think positively, and positive thinkers always have a better future. Positive thinkers are people who think beyond the now, what we call into the future. Where it all starts, the mind. So let me ask you, what is the future? Some people will think that the future is a specific place or a warehouse with just everything they need. The future is your mind, everything. Yeah. Again, please accept this line. What did God say? He said, as a man does what? What did he say? What did God say? You want to help me? That's how we go home. That's how we go home. And please help me. What did he say? He talked about the mind, the heart. And you quote that as often as you can. You quote that as often as you can, one of the likable lines in your life biblically. You quote that readily, you enjoy it so well, you use it so well. Say, as a man thinketh in his heart, as a man thinketh in his heart, what's going to happen? So easy. So everybody see the result of his thought. Everybody would see, and everybody will reference. Everybody, as a man thinketh in his heart. Is that not what God said? Proverbs 23:7. As a man thinketh, as a man reasons. Now, please, we go home this way. I want you to think about it. Put your reasoning to that line. And you will understand what I said earlier, that God does not reason for people. God does not think for anyone. And I give you the reason because he already gave. He said, for as he thinketh in his heart. It's different from saying, as he should be. I think he ought to. The expression as he is an expression for that's what he is. I've made him that way. So he has to do the rest now. I'm done with my part. That is why people call on God as if God is limited. As much as we are told that call on God, we can do nothing without God, but the very Bible tells us, let me spiritualize this part and we'll go, there are several things we can do with our God because he gave us the ability to think. You use, if you should have a changed life, start thinking right. Change your thinking or your life won't change. And people would see you just as they saw you 2025, they see you the same way in 2026. And just as you saw your friend in 2025, you see a different friend in that person in 2026. That's how why some people can feel inferior and they think they are cursed. No one is cursed. But you can hold yourself back when you just resign, not using your mind futuristically. Have you not seen it? Yeah, people say, "Oh, remember when you were in, are you, I'm on, you stay the same." And you hear the person too will want to shift blame and think blame shifting makes any sense in life. Yeah, oh, I know what's happening to me. My life can just change. Things just getting better for me. I know, I think it looks like God himself is vexed with me. That's not true. God does not get vexed with anybody simply because you think God gets vexed with you. If your life is not moving, if you're not making advance in life, if you're not making advance in your business, at your work site, and your academic sojourn, just any one of those things, it's because you got the future, but you are not thinking right to put the future out. Hence, you think by shifting blame, then it is better. And do you know that almost everybody in life, down to the ones who are under this ground, dead, shifted blame and never got a difference? Because blame shifting does not give you the solution. It does not bring any change. It does not. It changes nothing on you. You just remain the same. People listen to your blame shifting. They might empathize with you emotionally, but they will do nothing to help you. Your situation remains the same. You go with that burden until you can sit. Now, I like to use this line in most of my lectures because it helps people a lot, especially when it's on decision making. Again, please understand, God does not think for you. You think for yourself. And when you act, you have the future. You can cry and cry. You can worry and worry to whatever the degree. You can move from one end to another. You can go around explaining to all of your friends. You can cry in your room. You can pour out or drain out all the tears in you, all the water in you, as much as you have called tears. How empty is that when you're not ready to think properly to change your life? How I like to use this because it has so much. It speaks to almost all of the situations in our life. You may just think it's simple. You may just think that it is a one-step event, but it is multifaceted just in itself. It has too many elements. This woman with the issue of blood. Now you want to look at how messy that woman's situation was, how nasty, how unimaginable, unprecedented. If God can think for you, then you want to ask yourself, why did he allow that woman to go for all those years? He saw the woman. He knew the woman was in messy condition. He knew that her situation was beyond the description of messy. He gave the year, 12 years. He gave the going to the doctor, the spending of the money, every other thing. He gave all of the situations. He explained everything. We didn't know. So you want to ask yourself, if God can think for you, why didn't he think for that woman? Why didn't he bring the woman out of her messy condition to give her a message? Those 12 years, where was he? Well, he was the same God and still the same God. He saw her. That's why he gave her profile. But he opted never to move because he gave her the mind to think right. And until she thought right, her life changed. Change your life, or change your thinking, or your life won't change. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. We are inspired by your presence always. Thank you for joining in on Kings 88.5 Weekend Motivational Talk. Unleash your potential. If God permits, we're back next week, Saturday, with another motivational talk. Again, thank you. This is Kings 88.5 Motivational Talk. Unleash your potential. I'm Sam Andrews.
Unleash your potential, reach for the stars, electric dreams align. Show them who you are, unleash your potential. Yo, 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 let's go. 1, 2, 3, unleash and grow.